Hey everyone, this is basically an ad-lib of me doing a very spontaneous Q&A that I decided to whip up on the spot on Twitter and, well, obviously through Ponytown because that's where I was hosting the event as well as taking on questions from Q&A on Twitter. However, if any of you would like for me to do a Q&A from YouTube where you actually ask a question to Lightning Bliss herself, feel free to jump a question at me in the comments below and I'll see if I can't make another video in the future. That is if, of course, you guys want it. But that being said, this was in general group of questions that was targeted not just towards me, the creator, but also Lightning Bliss, as we are basically one and the same. But yeah, we're gonna just jump right into the Q&A, and I do hope you enjoyed the Ponytown scenes in the background. So first question, I'm gonna go through Twitter with the Q&A, and we're just gonna get right into it. First question, have any new series, animated or live action, caught your eye? Lately there has been, Agretzko has always caught my eye, and I am looking forward to another season of it if there is one going to be in production. But definitely Fruits Basket has caught my eye, and I'm looking really much forward to the next season. I think it would be their last season of season 3, and that's going to be released in April. Really excited for that. Fruits Basket is one of my favorite animes next to Ancient Mages' Bride, simply because it probably moves me the most, but I could go on here and we got a lot of questions, so off we go. As a Godzilla fan, out of all the Godzilla movies you've seen, which one is by far your all-time favorite? That is a good one because there are so many Godzilla movies. Currently I have to be honest and say that Godzilla King of the Monsters Legendary Studios version has probably been my most favorite Godzilla movie thus far in regards to currently. But if I were to talk about from Toho, then honestly I will still have to go with Godzilla Destroy All Monsters. I believe it's that one where aliens invade and basically Godzilla has to destroy all the monsters as a resort to keep the aliens from invading. Obviously, my favorite scene would be him destroying Zilla, the 1998 Godzilla from America. But yeah, that would be my favorite thus far. What is your favorite thing about Easter? Do you have a favorite Star Trek captain? These are both very random questions. What is my favorite thing about Easter? To be perfectly honest, I don't celebrate it all that much. My family gets together to celebrate and do the traditional egg hunt and painting eggs, but lately I have not been able to celebrate it in the past few years due to conventions being on the scene during the same weekend. But normally about Easter that I enjoy is when we all get together and enjoy a really nice lunch or early dinner, and usually that's consisted of Texas brisket and buffet potatoes and green bean casserole. Oh, it's just so good. As we're Food. I love food. In regards to my favorite Star Trek captain, that's really hard for me to say, because I like all of them in general, but I guess if I really had to pick, it would be Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard. I'm not a big Trekkie though, unlike my husband, so I can't really say for sure. Mr. Boogedy or Bride of Boogedy? Por qué los dos? What's your favorite Pixar Disney film? That's hard because lately, with the recent movie of Raya and the Last Dragon paired up with the last movie Soul, and now we have seen, and with Coco, those are definitely in my top 3 right now, though I'm not sure if I could pick a favorite out of those 3 just yet, other than to say Coco currently, because out of all those 3 films, Coco still remains the #1 movie to get me really to cry, you know? I'm sure some people are thinking, well, that's a bad thing if a movie makes you cry. Wrong. If it's supposed to make you feel something, that movie succeeds with me every single time, because there's the emotional family side to it that I can understand. How long it take to draw Blizzy the first time? Oh boy. My first sketch of Lightning Bliss, I believe I have it right here. She probably took a few hours of sketching in my sketchbook, and I was basically looking at references online while I was in Germany visiting my boyfriend, who is now husband. I was trying to draw up a concept of what I want to be represented as a pony OC, and at the time I was basically breaking a rut, I guess, because at the time I was mostly drawing xenomorphs and predator aliens, and So going suddenly from action and horror sci-fi aliens to cute, adorable cartoon ponies that I haven't done in years. That's since I was a child. That was a bit of a hard thing to get out of, but over time, with practice, I managed to get it down. Which of your D&D characters would win in a fight if they were all the same level? So currently I have 3 D&D characters right now. There's Amber Hawthorne, the Diamond Golden Dragon. There's Dame Kingsguard, and she's a Chimera. And then there's Hoopla, the Fairy Dragon. Now, if they were all the same level, which I'm going to assume by Amber Hawthorne standards is level 20, I honestly am not sure. I mean, we got to look at the reality here. Hoopla is the size of a cat, and Amber is the size of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, if not bigger. And then there's Dame the Chimera, and she's about the size of a large cat. All of them have something in common other than being 4-legged fantasy creatures. They are all some sort of fighter, though Hoopla is a bit of a mixed bag of fighter, wizard, martial arts, something. I don't know. Hoopla's a bag of mysteries. But that being said, even with all of the bag of tricks that Hoopla has, the fact is, even at a level 20, I don't think she could take on Amber Hawthorne, because Amber is just simply too big, too aggressive, and yeah, I just can't foresee how Amber could not beat Hoopla in a battle. And as for Dame, Dame is also just pure fighter. She breathes fire, she has a lot of strength and ability, she has a regal royalness to her. Size does matter, and Amber Hawthorne wins in that department too, because Amber's much bigger and she also breathes fire. She also breathes electricity. So yeah, honestly, out of the 3 characters, Amber by far would totally win against the fight between the 3 of them. Name one movie that you can think that needs to be remade. Right off the bat, Jaws 3D. I'm a big lover of shark movies. I love shark movies from, like, I guess the semi-trashy to more blockbustery. I do not acknowledge Sharknado. Those are terrible. I hate them. Absolutely despise them. I don't really watch ARC's movies on, like, Double-Headed Shark or Megalodon or Sharktopus, that sort of thing. No. Jaws 3D, I actually really enjoyed the movie on concept of plot and some of the scenes they did. I like the idea of a SeaWorld park that is actually in the open ocean, more or less, like on a beach or lagoon area, and a giant shark breaks in and starts destroying things. It's a cool idea. I like the idea of dolphins coming to the rescue, or even whales coming to help their trainers, you know, people getting trapped in a water lagoon tunnel and the shark is going on a rampage. I love this idea. The plot is great, and I actually enjoyed a lot of the acting too. The problem with it was the execution. 3D back then was not exactly good, and the 3D in this movie was just terrible. I mean, watch it for yourself and you'll see what I mean. The 3D effects are just awful, god awful. I would not be upset if this movie were remade, just because with today's technology, it could easily be done. If you wanted to do a story of you fusing with any pony else, who would it be? So I need to make it very abundantly clear that fusing is a very sensitive topic for me, because I don't just like the idea of fusing with anybody. Fusions, like in a Steven Universe, where all they have to do is dance and merge together into one state of mind. There's an intimate thing about it though. There's something really important to the characters when they fuse, and I tend to believe that in that same concept. It's all about trust and understanding each other before an actual fusion could take place. So I am not gonna nonchalant just have Lightning Bliss fuse with anybody. It needs to be with someone who would mutually agree with her, will understand this is platonic, would understand that I'm your friend, you're my friend, we can trust each other to do this. There needs to be complete and utter friendship trust between the 2 individuals, between her and the other person. This is why it was able to work with her in Aeon, because we both have a great deal of respect and trust for each other. So that being said, who could I trust to do that with? I actually do have quite a few friends that I could entrust myself with coming up with a fusion idea. It's just a question, would they agree? Because I can understand, say, Dr. Wolf, for instance. I would have no problem fusing with him because I trust him. However, if he were to have a problem with it, then I wouldn't do it. Absolutely not. It really depends on the other individual. Just because I say I'm comfortable doing it with this person doesn't mean they'll feel the same way. That being said, if I could pick anybody, I would easily say, well, Doc, or Despio, or even Midnight Sonata, or Eliora. A lot of these people I put a whole lot of trust into. So yeah, I guess it's easy for me to say who I think I could, but would they agree? That's the bigger question. I have 2 questions. What's your favorite candy dessert, and what do you think about the furry fandom? Well, my favorite dessert, that's really hard to pick because I have a huge sweet tooth. I love cakes, pies, and ice cream and cookies. Horrible sweet tooth. And I love Reese's. So I could just go down the line of each dessert I prefer out of those categories, but I can't just pick one, you know? So I love cookie cake. That's like the birthday cake for me. I like chocolate fudge cake too, but if I had to pick any cake for my birthday, it would be a cookie cake. And how do I feel about the furry fandom? Well, I got a lot of friends that are in the furry fandom. A lot of them. And all of them are great and amazing people. And while I know that the furry fandom has some promiscuous tendencies and what have you, that's not something I'm into. I respect that other people are, but I'm not into it. I respect the furry fandom in the fact that I have friends that are in it and they enjoy it. They have told me why they enjoy it. I could see why they enjoy it. And some people have even come up and asked me, would I ever join the furry fandom too? I would roughly say no, but a lot of people say I might as well be a diet furry because I'm a brony. Well, there you go. Would you consider doing anime-related videos and more videos about your childhood cartoons, for example, Care Bears? I'm not sure what you mean by doing anime-related videos. If you mean me reviewing anime, I'm not sure on that quite yet because I'm just not that big of an anime fanatic. I do like some anime, but I'm not obsessed with it. Me reviewing some of my childhood cartoons like the Care Bears, though, I want to do that. I really do. It's just that I have really big projects on my plate right now that I gotta get through first. Though granted, I can still take time out of my busy schedule to make quick reviews based off of cartoon episodes I really do enjoy. I want to do that. It's just finding the time in between to do it. Can you recommend any good fan fiction, and can Dr. Wolf gain wings and a horn? I'm just asking for a friend. Well, why do you want Doc to gain wings and a horn? I'm curious about that. What's the story behind that, dude? I don't think he can, though. I don't know if somebody other than maybe Bliss and Eliora or Aeon could actually magically conjure an ability for Doc to gain the powers of an Alicorn. But I honestly couldn't tell you. Can I recommend any good fanfics? Absolutely. You could check out Fiora the Tank Girl's Fallout Equestria Dead Tree. She wrote the entire book series, and she's actually selling the book right now on her website if you're interested. Highly recommend that. It's a great story. Now that I got all the Twitter questions out of the way, I could go right into the Ponytown questions, and oh boy, I got at least 3 pages worth here. And by the way, just a heads up, if I don't answer your question from the other day, it's probably because it was already tied into a question I've already seen, or it's something I've answered already in a video, or it tied into another question that somebody already asked. That being said, I'm going to get into the next few pages of questions. Have you heard of the game Warframe? I've heard of it, don't really care for it, sadly. Who do you think is the best D&D player? Honestly, if I really have to be honest, Why am I repeating? I would have to say Doc is probably one of the best D&D players I've ever seen. And this is just because his prowess and strategy knows no bounds. He comes up with a strategy on the fly, just doing a little research on some spells he's seen, and then boom, he's able to take out something as big as a Tarrasque within one magical spell move in a D&D game. If anybody impresses me as much as they do when it comes to battle in D&D, it's always been Doc, because he has great strategy ability. Who's the better brother for you, Dr. Wolf or Thespio? I don't want to choose. They're both good. They're both like family to me. I love them both, and they both help and support me in different ways. So, ¿por qué no los dos? Do you have a favorite song of My Little Pony? You didn't say G4 and you didn't say G1. You've opened the gates, the floodgates to the entire My Little Pony franchise. So if I had to pick a song that always stays in my head, regardless of where it comes from, it would be Shooby-doo, shoop shoopy-doo, call upon the sea ponies when you're in distress. Whoa. Have you seen Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss? If so, what are your thoughts? Yes, I have seen Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss. I've actually been keeping up with all the episodes of Hell of a Boss and still waiting on updates for Hazbin Hotel, because I'm actually really looking forward to Hazbin and Hell of a Boss. I like the concept of even when your life is over and you committed terrible sins, is there a potential that you can still be redeemed even after all is said and done? I like this concept. I like the ideas and different views of a life after death scenarios and redemption. I do like stories like this, and I really am looking forward to see what else the characters and the artist and the owner and the director, everybody. I'm really am looking forward to what VisiPop comes up with in the next few episodes. Do I recommend this to kids? Absolutely not. Do not watch these, kids. If you are under 18 years of age, you should not be watching this. Off of you. What inspired you to want to be the TF2 Blue Heavy? Well, honestly, when I first joined the TF2 series, I don't think I was actually going to get into the team itself. I was quite literally asked to be a voluntary editor for the videos, because apparently TF2 blew up from the first episode from the previous editor that made the episode, and then he ended up backing out of the project because he didn't want to do it anymore. So Doc came to me to edit for the series, and here I am. How I got to be the Blue Team Heavy though, well, when he said that he and Josh were going to start recruiting members to join the Blue Team, I didn't think I was actually gonna get in, but I figured, hey, since I'm editing for the series, maybe I could throw my hat in if I had a good idea of how to join. And I presented the idea to Doc after I wrote a really rough script about how Bliss could join in as the Blue Team Heavy, and he liked it. And he actually helped to basically get a hold on my story, because mine was really over the top and didn't have structure, to which Doc helped me with the structure of it. And yeah, I wanted to be the heavy because honestly, I like the idea of holding a minigun. I love miniguns. I am a big fan of Terminator 2, for instance, and one of my favorite scenes is him shooting up the police enforcement with a minigun. So yeah, there's my inspiration right there. It's the Terminator. When did you get into TF2, Blissy? Several years ago, I was the editor. Yeah, there you go. Favorite princess? If you mean from like Generation 4 of My Little Pony, then my favorite princess is Celestia. Have you made yourself a TF2 Blue Team Heavy in Ponytown yet? Not yet. I probably should though. If you could be any animal you wanted, what would it be and why? Honestly, I like the idea of being a white deer or a hummingbird. The white deer being because I like the idea of being elegant and flexible and be able to jump and bound and run at great speeds. But I also like the idea of being a hummingbird because I'd be really pretty and I'd be able to fly and hover and not really have to worry about much. Just like flying. Flying's fun. Will you be doing any more art challenges? It is definitely an idea. and I am tempted to probably do another one, maybe in another magic lesson. I will definitely have to think about that. I certainly will think about it. What's your favorite game? Well, that depends. It depends on what I'm in the mood for, and I like to play games with friends. So Among Us and Golf with Your Friends have been two of my most favorite games thus far. But I also like playing Ark by myself in creative mode, and I also like the Spyro games. Do you have any major plans for this year? I do have some major plans, including but not limited to going to the zoo with my husband, hopefully going to a water park if it's open, meeting up with some friends at some point for a special retreat that we try to do once a year. I also think I will be going to a wedding this October, and I'm not going to say for who, spoiling, but yes, I am looking forward to some things, and I really am hoping that they will all play out. What are PonyCons like? Well, if you have never been to a convention before, a PonyCon is just like any other convention. It's just the theme behind it that's different, and that is ponies. Conventions are a lot of fun for me. They are. I love to meet new people. I love to meet fans. I love to meet my idols, and I love to get together with my friends and just hang out and have a ball. But I won't lie in that conventions can be socially exhausting for me as well, because I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies. It can be a little overwhelming if there's a lot of people, and especially if you're well known and you can't get a break from people just to relax. I love PonyCons. They're a lot of fun. Obviously plan them out and be prepared for everything when you go to them, but otherwise just have fun. What are your opinions on the Alien prequels? Well, here's the thing. I'm a fan of Alien. I loved Aliens. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Alien 3, I think is okay. I know a lot of people bash on that movie for it because that was like basically the video to end the movies, and it was supposed to be that. But then Alien Resurrection came out. We don't talk about that. Alien vs. Predator came out. That was okay. Alien vs. Predator Requiem came out, and we don't talk about that either. Oh! And then there's Prometheus. And then there's Alien Conjuring. I honestly can't tell you guys how I feel about the prequels because, quite frankly, I don't bother acknowledging them that much. I like to watch the first three, and that's it. What other languages do you speak? I speak the Blizzy language. Porque los dos, comprendo inglés, por favor. As you can see, I can speak a little skosh of Spanish, not a whole lot. I have basics like ¿Dónde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? ¿Dónde está la cucaracha? Where is my cockroach? I'm not skilled in any other languages. I have an auditory processing disorder that's basically disabled me from really being able to learn another language. Well, I'm not saying I probably couldn't learn another language, but it would take more than a few years on average for me to learn something like that. And at this point, I'm just better off with English. And even that's a stretch because my husband, Aeon, my friends correct me daily. Any other favorite movies you like to watch other than Godzilla? Of course, I love to watch a various plethora of different types of movies. I do enjoy watching Disney movies and other sci-fi movies in action. Absolutely, I watch a bunch of other stuff besides Godzilla. What inspired you to create your Pony OC? Well, a lot of people from the Furry Fandom were doing it, and I realized, oh, this looks like something fun. Maybe I should do it too. I should have a Pony OC avatar to represent me. And I guess I was kind of following the herd with that because it looked like something everybody was doing in the Furry Fandom, so I figured I'd do so as well. How is your counterpart Thunderblight doing? Well, Thunderblight is a personality trait of Lightning Bliss, and that is wrath and anger. So I guess you should be asking, is Lightning Bliss angry? No, she's not. She's good. Are you ready for spring or are you dreading the allergies? I do not like spring. I do not like allergies. However, I'm in Texas and we have allergies all year round, so I'm already doomed. But spring is nice to look at. Besides bad OCs, what other scary things do you enjoy? That's almost like implying that I like bad OCs. I don't like bad OCs. Why would I like bad OCs? Bad OC designs are bad. But what other scary things do I enjoy? Well, like I said, I do love horror films. I do love sci-fi. I like scary games, scary movies. I will say that lately I've been really into listening to audios on YouTube that basically read off Reddit stories, like scary horror stories that actually happened. I like hearing about survival stories from scary situations, and a lot of people are thinking, that's horrible. Why would you want to listen to real life scary story events of people that nearly got harmed or were threatened or scared in some way? And my answer to that is because it's actually giving me ideas of what to do if something like that were to happen to me, because a lot of these stories tend to emphasize the importance of being self-aware, knowing your surroundings, having the common sense to call out for help, and knowing when to run and when to defend yourself. I love scary stories that tell you how to get out of these dangerous situations, but also I like being scared. It makes me feel alive. It's an adrenaline boost I like to get. Thoughts on season 1 of Pony Life? I've honestly not kept up with Pony Life. I've watched maybe a couple of episodes and then I was done. Is it a bad show? I don't know. Is it a good one? I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it because on one hand, I'm hearing my original voice actors playing these characters again, but they're not the same characters, and I think that's what's rubbing me differently upon it. Like, this is just a much more goofier version of Gen 4 My Little Pony, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. Aside from being the TF2 heavy, which other classes do you like? I like the Pyro. I mean, let's be real, Eliora and Daga make the Pyro look like fun. And I have played the Pyro a few times in TF2. When we didn't need a heavy, we needed somebody to play support. And I like playing support characters too, so the Pyro is definitely a lot of fun. What weapon do you prefer to use as the heavy? Really? I'm skipping that one. Have you gotten used to Midnight being half zombie, half pony? Correction, she is not a half zombie, half pony. She is a harpy demon trapped inside a dead pony body. Rewatch the episode if you're confused on that one. But the answer is yes. I kind of known this for a long time, like in reality, because we were planning the script for the longest time. Bliss obviously had no idea about it, but yeah, it's all good. How often do you play TF2? Not as often as I would like, I admit, because this is a game that I want to play with friends with, but friends need to be available to play, and I need to be available to play because we're all too busy. Besides Generation 4, what other generations do you like, Bliss? Well, I'm biased. I was born a G1 brony. I was into My Little Pony since 1986. It came out in 1984. I've always been into ponies according to my mother, so Gen 4 definitely holds a special place in my heart. Were there other names considered before you chose Lightning Bliss? Yes, I will admit that the name for my OC came up last after I finished designing her, and the name needed to spark something based off her design and her cutie mark, and also the personality and the talent. There was just so much going on though with my talent skills that I wasn't even sure I had a singular good talent. But I wanted something to represent spontaneousness and love, or the colors of the rainbow. So originally I thought Lightning Rainbow, but that was a mouthful, so no. Lightning Bright, aka I throw off a Rainbow Bright, but Lightning Bright. That still felt like a ripoff. And then it originally came down to I wanted to have an attempt to have nicknames that represent my Southern hospitality, because I am a Southerner. I am a very proud Texan. And I thought Bliss represents love and purity and joy, euphoria, a rainbow, basically. A rainbow represents all of this too. So Bliss, and then I was thinking, oh goodness, I'm sure one day people are going to call me Blissy. Kind of a nickname from Bessie, and I really like the name Bessie, so Blissy. Lightning Bliss eventually came to be. What was it first like when you joined the Secret Rift? The Secret Rift was a very sudden but very natural move over from the Rift Cafe because, I mean, personally, I guess the Rift Cafe wasn't suitable enough for some of us individuals. There was mod issues with the old Rift Cafe that I personally didn't appreciate, so that's why I ended up moving over to the Secret Rift, and then I was hired to do some background artwork to represent the Secret Rift, which I'm still proud of to this day. Yeah, it was a natural move. How did you and Aeon come up with the fusion of Euphoria? Well, originally we were talking about the idea of a fusion, and then we stumbled upon a fan art piece because Steven Universe was a big thing at the time, and somebody made a fusion of Bliss and Aeon one day, and we both took a look at it, and we were actually surprised at how good it looked. It was actually a well thought out design. Not the final design of what we came up with, but it definitely got me and Aeon thinking, what would our fusion be like and look like? This was months of conversation between the two of us. We talked about what would be her mannerisms. Would she be a complete half of Aeon and a complete half of Bliss just mashed up together? Would it be our two voices talking at once? Or would she have her own voice? Would she have her own personality? And then, of course, what did she look like? And then it just boiled down to this. Euphoria was created by Bliss and Aeon's fusion, but she is her own character, or she's taken on her own personality based off the center core personalities of Aeon and Bliss. How were you inspired to come up with the design of your husband's new OC? Well, that took conversation as well, because I did ask my husband when he was fine with me turning him into a pony, what would his pony character look like, and he told me flat out he wanted to be a Pegasus. Fair enough. He thought having a primary gray color scheme, like light gray, was good enough. He also liked the idea of having some form of sky and aqua ocean colors within his hair and mane, while still keeping a rough concept of what his hair design would look like. But the cutie mark concept we came up with, we wanted to represent some of his German heritage, hence the Black Eagle. The Black Eagle is a representation of the German flag and crest. And I call him Scroll Wings because it represents his talent in dialogue, because my husband's biggest talent is being able to speak both fluent German and English. How long does it take for you to make a normal episode? Well, if you mean normal episode like a review, it depends on the review and depending on how long it is. So I'd say if I were to do an average video that's under 10 minutes, it could take me about 10 to 3 days tops just to edit the video. That's not including writing the script or recording the audio and putting audio together and audio effects. So it could take up to about a week at most for most normal episodes. Why did you choose your OC to be an Alicorn? So originally when I decided to promote Bliss to being an Alicorn, I only did that because I wanted her to represent something big that happened in my life. Two big things. One, I graduated college. I was the first out of my family to do so. And two, within the same year, I got married. I had a wedding and I graduated college. Two really big things that I wanted to showcase or represent, like, I did it. I made it this far. I've graduated and entered a new life of my existence. So originally, that's why I made Bliss into an Alicorn, to represent that new step into my life. But then I realized there's more to it now, because now I want to showcase to everybody that having an Alicorn OC is not a bad thing. It really isn't. Now, making poor character choices for them, making them Mary Sue's, Gary Stu's, that's the problem. I want to showcase that you can have an Alicorn OC or any kind of OC as long as you take the effort to write them out properly. Who came up with the Secret Rift? The Secret Rift was created by a Secret Dreamer, I believe, and now the mods like Tricky Fox and other people are running it currently. How's Twink doing? He's good. He is a big fat plush sitting in my bedroom at the moment, and he's guarding my stuff. Who's your favorite Philly character? Is it cheating if I say they are not a Philly? They're more like a hatchling? Yeah, Gabby. I love Gabby the Griffin. She's just a pure bundle of sunshine and rainbows. I love her. And she's she's technically a kid, so she's my favorite kid character. Now, if we're CMC related, I could tell you otherwise, but yeah, Gabby is definitely my favorite young character of the show. Do you think Twink will have a Playmate soon? Technically he already has 2 of them. They are Shull and Solar Flare. So no, Twink doesn't really need a Playmate. Does Bliss have a human version of herself? I did do an Equestrian Girl design of Lightning Bliss at one point, but I didn't like how it came out, and I wanted it to look more like me, even if it is an EQD style, but I just haven't gotten around to actually making one, so not a set in stone version, no. Who or what inspired you the most to begin drawing? Nothing really inspired me to start drawing when I was a kid. My mom said as soon as I was old enough to pick up a crayon, that's what all I would do was draw. To say what inspires me today to keep drawing though, well, that's because it's a talent that I enjoy doing and I want to keep getting better at it. I want to draw characters that are important to me and that I love so much. Lightning Bliss represents me, a character that I love so much. If anything, through Blizzy, I am learning how to love myself a little bit better. I know that may sound very diva-ish or vain of me, but I am my own worst critic, and I don't know how to love myself. So the fact that I am enjoying taking the time to draw a character that's supposed to represent me, that inspires me. And of course, I also love drawing the characters of my friends because I love them too, and I love their characters. They're all just wonderful people, and they're all so very creative that inspires me to draw for sure. If you could make Bliss into another creature in My Little Pony, what would it be? Probably a dragon. Yep, not gonna lie, it's gonna be a dragon, and I think it's obvious why. Can Bliss have a nightmare form? A nightmare form? So like Nightmare Moon, basically, where I willingly become evil and transform into something entirely different. I know some people are probably thinking that, well, that's Thunderblight, isn't it? That's your Thunderblight self. I guess technically Thunderblight would be a good representation of my Nightmare Night form. However, I don't think she actually would be because she represents just one side of my personality. She doesn't represent everything. Though, I guess that would honestly mean if Thunderblight were to become the pre-existing dominant personality of Lightning Bliss, I guess that technically would trigger a Nightmare Night form. If Thunderblight were to have successfully merged back with Bliss as the dominant personality, that would have triggered a Nightmare Night form. I honestly think it would have. And probably Thunderblight and Bliss would not be the same anymore. It would be an entirely new character altogether. One that Bliss has no moral or ethic line. She is only caring about herself and making herself happy at the expense of others. That would be a Nightmare Night form for sure. What was your favorite thing to draw ever? Oh, it's hard. That you can't ask me these questions, man. I've drawn so many things. I've enjoyed drawing character reference sheets, honestly, because it's something being done in my style, and I'm always learning how to expand my style into other people's characters. How often do you prank call Jasper? Not enough. I've only pranked him maybe once, twice. I think it's only been one time. I need to do another one though, that's for sure. If you could be in any movie, what would it be and what would be your role? Oh, I definitely like the idea of being in the My Little Pony movie when the Storm King's invading. I wouldn't be a primary role or anything. I just like the idea of being a background character running from my life. I actually did draw a idea of what it would be like if me and my friends were involved during the Storm King invasion. And people have actually taken up an interest in me writing a fanfic about that. I am debating it. I have 2 fanfic ideas I want to write, but I just haven't gotten the time to do it. And crazy. If you could visit any country, what would it be? I have a couple of countries I hope to visit one day. They are on the bucket list, but specifically the one I would want to travel with just me and my husband would definitely be Italy. And the other that I would definitely want not only my husband to be with, but also all my friends is Japan. Definitely want to check out Japan. Do you have a favorite book series? I, in fact, do. I enjoy 2 books. I guess technically that's not a series, but The Golden Compass is a series, at least. That's a 3-book novel. I definitely am enjoying the writings of Fallout Equestria by Fiora the Tank Girl. So again, shout out to Fiora the Tank Girl. But if you were to ask me my 2 favorite books, it would be The Dark Lord of Dirkholm and Year of the Griffin, the sequel. Those are my 2 favorite books. What are your favorite types of video games and platforms? I am a PC all the way. I love PC. PlayStation would be second behind. But I love shooter games with first perspective. I like puzzle games. And I do like some games that involve playing with my friends. So, yeah. But on top, puzzle games. Those are my favorite. What are your favorite type of cliches? Ooh, beam power standoff. You know how like in Dragon Ball Z where Goku goes Kamehameha and Vegeta goes a Gatlas gun or something like that, and their power beams are hitting in the center and they're trying to push each other back with these power beams. I love those cliches. They're awesome. I also love the occasional powering up. I love those cliches. They're awesome. They're fun. I don't care. Sue me. What are your final thoughts on the ending of Generation 4? I really liked the epilogue episode. I thought it was fun and sweet, and it hit a lot of nostalgic moments for me, just looking back on all the characters we've seen from the show. The song was moving. It just made me feel like, despite the fact that the series may be over, not the friendships we've all made. And I absolutely applaud the creators for making it the way they did. Have you seen the show Gravity Falls? I have seen Gravity Falls, and it is an amazing show. I got to binge watch it with Aeon, and I'm so glad I did, because I had no idea what I was missing out on until I saw it. It is a great show, and yeah, y'all should definitely see it. It's really good. Do you have a favorite fan fiction? I do. I'm gonna be a little vulnerable admitting this, but y'all probably won't be surprised when I say it. I have to say, of all the fanfics I've heard or seen, my favorite one by far has to be Dr. Wolf's The Equestrian Wolf, that was written and proofread by him and a Godzilla Wolf. That fanfiction got me crying quite a few times and made me fall in love with Doc's character even more, and even fall in love with his brother Tarek's character just as much. It's a great fanfic, and highly recommend you guys give it a watch if you haven't yet. Were there any villains from G1 you had hoped to see in G4? Actually, they already brought in T-Rex, so I was really happy with that. They also brought in the Smooze, but he technically wasn't a villain. He was more like a plot device. So if I had any complaints or I wanted to see other villains in G4, I would have liked to have seen the Smooze actually used, or the witches. Everybody might not have remembered the witches from G1, but they were a big villain at the time. I definitely would have liked to see what it would have been like if witches actually showed up, humanoids, in Generation 4. If you had superpowers, what would they be? I definitely like to think I'd be like Nightcrawler from X-Men. I like the idea of being able to teleport anywhere I want and climbing on walls. Sounds like fun. What's your favorite type of cookie? Peanut butter blossom. Yee! Are you excited for a new Alien vs. Predator game being in development? I had no idea there was a game in development. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. How are you holding up with everything going on in the world? Like with human malware and stuff? I know that a lot of some states, including my own, have opened things back up, but some businesses are still keeping the policy of keeping on a mask. And you know what? That is fine. I am fine with whatever every state decides to do. That is their choice. That's their government's choice. That is the governor's choice. I also respect businesses and their policies of whether to have masks on or have masks off. I am respecting the law. I am respecting the policies. I am really hoping that I will get a quote cure soon when it becomes available for people of my age. But otherwise, yeah, I'm being safe. My family's being safe. We're doing what we can to not make things any worse in our area. How did you come up with Twink? Twink was supposed to be a one-off random pet character that I was going to use in one of my reviews, which I did. He was an embodiment of my magic lessons when a lot of the magic spurts that I had, which was a lot, would not get reabsorbed back into Bliss's horn. Ended up gaining conscience and became Twink. But Twink was supposed to be a one-off character, and people fell in love with his design for some reason, so I ended up keeping him around, and then he became his own character, and now here we are. It's crazy. Are there any more big changes in Bliss's arc that are in the making? In fact, there actually is. There is a really big arc that I'm working on that does revolve around some of the magic lessons. I am not going to go into it at this time though, because spoilers. Will Blizzy ever control her powers? Well, see, here's the thing. If Lightning Bliss does eventually learn to control her powers, well, that means the series of magic lessons will end, essentially. She won't have any more magic lessons to do, and I know a lot of people have enjoyed them thus far, and I'm not even sure if I made 20 videos yet, and I really am hoping to make more magic lessons along the way because they're so much fun, and I know how much people enjoy them, so I really can't foresee Bliss learning how to control her magic anytime soon unless I want to end the series. And I'd like to think nobody wants that right now, so yeah. People, if you want Bliss to control her magic, well, you're basically saying you want the series to end. I don't think you guys want that, because I certainly don't. So, it's not going to end anytime soon. Blizzy's not going to learn to control her magic anytime soon, but I like to think she's improving as time goes on. And that's it for this Q&A, guys, and oh my goodness, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. I might have to do a much shorter version and maybe pick like the top 10 best Q&A questions in the comments below, where you're asking a question specifically to Lightning Bliss or even Thunderblight, then I could definitely do that. So if you want to ask a question to the Lightning Bliss or the Thunderblight, please just drop a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And also, once again, thanks so much for supporting me and my channel. Be sure to check out my Patreon if you haven't decided to donate yet, or even check out my website because every little bit helps. And with that, guys, I thank you so much for listening, and keep an eye out for those rainbows. They will make you smile. Hey everyone, this is a special shout out that is a little late, so I apologize to all my Patreons, but thanks for your patience. Big shout out goes out to GameAct3, Science Steel Rail, Wulfric Hunting, Zion Kraze, Dax Blade, Eighthflame, Color Scales, Dark Pone, Golden Scribe, Joshua A. STERRETT, Lance Wolfstar, Ripple-Effect-MLP, ArticWing, Eragon Nightshade Blaze, Jirog 1989, Jay Watson, Josh Scorcher, Luigi Man 87, Lycan, MythicVixen, Peter Shull, Reactor Aakor, EALWolf01, and Evan Flores 428. Again, guys, thank you so much for supporting me back in February of 2021, and I hope to hear from you guys again. If, of course, you want to support me on Patreon, you can always click on the link below and in the description. Thanks again, and keep an eye out for those rainbows. They will make you smile.